3, for people who do not know, we're just going to be playing Classic Conquest. Have to win with your deck, both of them in this best of 3. And we're going to start things off with Hunter versus Warlock. Now, if you guys missed the pre-game ceremonies, players were allowed to utilize their points to disrupt their opponent or to open packs, right? Do you want to benefit your own team, or do you want to meddle in a very evil way, mischievous manner to your opponents? And they both chose to disenchant cards. In this case, the Hunter lost Unleash the Hounds, but the Sea Giant lost. That one stings a little bit too.
Yeah, this was something that you heard Crip talking about throughout the course of the entire day. He never wanted to build a deck or craft a card that was a one of or that was too powerful that the deck would have to revolve around. So both of their decks from Where's My PogChamp were kind of avoiding being able to get disenchanted and get wrecked by an evil on-doing from Joast.
And evil indeed. I mean, if you take a look at it, yes, it's mustaches versus cape men, but I gotta be honest, Mike, it looks more like Where's My PogChamp is ready to go to bed with some of their eye masks, getting ready for a nice little nap.
Yeah, it's almost like this, like half sleepy, half hero, half Where's My eye holes. There's a whole bunch of different things that you can call Where's My PogChamp, but Joast, on the other hand, reoccurring villain, I think is exactly what they look like right now.
Are they, or are they trying to enter a Charlie Chaplin lookalike contest and losing very badly? Lots of questions on the mind, but either way, like this Fireworks deck to summon more onto the board. As we mentioned, Sea Giant is disenchanted, which means it's difficult for Where's My PogChamp to counter swing. One of the things that Hunter likes to do in this matchup is to pressure the life total a lot against the Warlock, and it goes both ways in one direction. Hunter deals 2 damage to the Warlock with its hero power, and then Warlock's hero power does 2 damage to itself. So it tends to be a very difficult obstacle to overcome if you lose too much life. So that's why, as much as Crip and Bunny Fufu on Where's My PogChamp, they're going to want to establish a big board and take some time to do it, but they can't take too long.
Definitely, especially when it comes to Joast's tech inclusions now. They have things like Explosive Trap and Mossy Horror. So even if they do get behind, and something that Where's My PogChamp is trying to target by getting rid of the Hounds, not only kicking the Hounds out, but disenchanting them. So now they have ways of fighting back for the board if they do get behind, but they're also ahead of the board right now, which is exactly where they want to be.
Yeah, Unleash the Hounds is oftentimes a comeback card. It's not always the case. But you don't need that comeback card if you're always ahead. And so by going first on the play, having that 1-mana minion, having that 2-mana minion, goes to show you the power within having that synergy there. Now, very importantly, this Replicating Menace actually can magnetize. And Team Joast has the ability to trade into this Evil Genius or just press damage. However, they don't have the most aggressive hand. In fact, they have a very reactive hand. So that's kind of the tricky balance that they have to evaluate here.
Yeah, the magnetic on the Mecharoo is definitely something where that 4 attack is just begging to go face when you're Hunter. Just smork down the Gul'dan, feels good. And now, Where's My PogChamp? Gonna roll some dice.
Oh, this
throw
is
some
classic Hearthstone. The lackeys and the knives. Trying to shut down these microbots. Get both of them? Can they land one more?
Another one. Man, I want a mustache like Knife Juggler, the talent on his sniping skills and the stash. He can be in my League of Evil any day.
Yeah, isn't this kind of a betrayal situation? Knife Juggler with the mustache should be rooting for Team Joast, but ends up wiping everything. Although, I will say that getting the Ancient Watcher hurts a lot, and this Explosive Trap will stop a Grim Rally push. Where's My PogChamp also at 15 life? This is actually not a great situation for the Warlock, despite it being very far ahead on board. And that Grim Rally normally is a good draw, but that Explosive Trap, Mike, is going to shut everything down.
Yeah, and they know it's Explosive Trap. This is something that was teched in late. They know exactly what secret this is. So even with the Grim Rally play, this is not going to be able to do anything for Where's My PogChamp. They're going to just have to tank this damage or somehow possibly wait for a second Grim Rally, but that seems way far-fetched.
If they're going to look for a second Grim Rally, I would suggest looking for it very soon, even this turn with the Solarium to help you dig deeper through your deck. But here's the caveat to it, they don't have to attack. A lot of people feel like, oh my gosh, I have so much power on board, they have a secret, I need to proc that secret as fast as I can. I think time's on your side. Plus, Cheeky Ankle Biter, if that does get buffed, will be their comeback mechanic. Juggler and Voidwalker here are also viable options, so that way he can at least get those minions on the board and stay alive.
Yeah, so here we got they're playing Knife Juggler and Voidwalker. So this is something where they're obviously not going to attack. They're going to try to build a strong board.
Yes.
Are they?
Well, they can also not attack here. But I mean, the Knife Juggler will get damage in.
Yeah.
The key is they just can hold and wait. And that's where the Unleash the Hound's removal really stings. Although this Mossy Horror on 6 will wipe half the board, which is still a very effective comeback tool here for Team Joast. Yes, they're just killing off things that would die from Explosive Trap anyways, but they need to make sure that there's not that second Grim Rally to punish them. Otherwise, this can be a very disastrous scenario.
Definitely. That Solarium play, getting the 2 minions that would survive the Explosive Trap after getting buffed, is exactly what WheresMyPogChamp was looking for. This board, even though half of it will die to Explosive Trap right now, this is exactly where they want to be. This is looking good. And if anything gets put on the board on Joseph's side, Lifesteal coming out from the Cheaty Ankle Biter.
Well, they're going to go for a Goblin Bomb preemptively. And this will hopefully stop the Knife Juggler from attacking them directly. But this still allows the Cheeky Ankle Biter to trade in and offset that bomb damage. In fact, they net 1 health here. They go up to 14.
Yeah, definitely a really interesting call where they... Ooh, Explosive Trap is going off. They put down the Scarabée, proccing more Knife Juggles, more minions back on the board. But now, that is just another powerful board. However, Joast has the answer.
They have the answer through the Mossy Horror. In fact, I think Crypt is cognizant of it. They life tap in a Grim Rally. That is one of those situations where the order hurts, but the damage here is still very good. Oh man, Missile Launcher. So if you Mossy Horror, there's still 7 power on the board. The Juggler still survives. The Juggler is immense.
Smashing is fun. I mean, that is just exactly what you have to do. Quick play, no time for the rope. But now, there's nothing too much. We're gonna tap, we're gonna try to find something.
Okay. Magic Carpet?
Carpet is something. But we're not trading here. We want to, this is turning into a face race.
This is completely a race. And I don't think WheresMyPogChamp is slowing down. And more importantly, I don't know if Team Joast has a defensive option right now. They're at 5 life. This is so close.
They are at 5 life.
Oh,
mind control tech.
All right.
Spicy.
So what can we do here? So Missile Launcher will kill off 3 minions, but you're still gonna, or 4 minions if you trade.
with a trade.
3, but you're still dead on board. So.
Yeah, there was a Venomizer out that could have been drawn to clear the board and set up lethal, but that was unfortunately not drawn. So what do we do here? Mind control tech for the taunt?
For the taunt,
possibly
or
for the Knife Juggler for some procs.
2 out of the 6 options are great. So 1 in 3 times, they'll take it. Because if they take the taunt, they trade into the Knife Juggler, they take the Knife Juggler. Oh, okay.
And the Knife Juggler.
Hold on.
Can play only 1 of these minions
Yeah,
though.
you can't, you still have to shut down the board. They don't have the opportunity to. They needed to land on the taunt. The more I thought about it, because they don't have the mana. They don't have the mana or the ability to utilize these mechs.
Yeah, we couldn't up the chances of taking exactly what we wanted because of the taunt. So we couldn't trade in with the Mossy Horror either. So this is looking very grim.
No, this is 100% death here, I think, for Team Joast. Toast is thinking about every possibility, every interaction, every YouTube video that he's ever typed in all caps for the headline. It's not going to be enough. Valiant effort, though, from Team Joast. I gotta tip my cap, because it looked like they really tried to do this with that Unleash the Hounds, and you can see how hard it is without it, and why WheresMyPogChamp with that disenchant, very wise decision. That's game 1 victory.
Yeah, and you saw exactly why.
A very defensive position when the Hunter wants to be very aggressive.
So here we have the Token Druid mirror match, and this is a match where it's very much a who can get on the board first, or have an explosive Whispering Woods turn where your opponent just can't answer it. So there's a whole bunch of back and forth, and it's going to be really interesting to see which one comes out on top. This is Chocobar's favorite deck.
Yes, Token Druid, I think, is simultaneously the most overrated and underrated decks in Hearthstone right now, or at least in current meta for Rise of Shadows. When it first came out, it was vastly overrated just because of how much it was punishing other decks. Evilly, of course, which we are contractually obligated to weave into every one of our paragraphs whenever we rant for this cast.
Yeah, it's definitely a deck that asks the question. So it's like, mwahaha, and deal with this. Mwahaha, deal with this.
Yes. And everyone is trying to figure out the optimal decks for their slower versions of whatever they're playing, so the Token Druid capitalized on that. However, as time went on, people started saying, you know what, Token Druid's bad. It was only because it was capitalizing on weaker decks, and I think that caused it to become underrated at that point. So it's in a very weird spot where I think the players who are at lower ranks highly value Token Druid, and they're not necessarily wrong in doing so, but they might like it a little too much. And I think the higher level players don't respect this deck enough, Michael, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's definitely a deck with something to prove. Definitely something that fits in with our League of Evil.
Right.
I'm glad that both of these teams have brought this deck.
Right.
And there's the turn 4 Whispering Woods, and that's exactly what you're looking for. Make your opponent deal with it. But right now, they're not going to be able to deal with it. They're probably going to play Whispering Woods of their own into probably a swipe.
Yes, the swipe here looks very good, but then Toast and Janet also have their Whispering Woods right back. But what's important is that WheresMyPogChamp now has the opportunity to climb a little bit further ahead on the board. They also have an alternative instead of going for the swipe to go for a buff with Blessing of the Ancients and try to bait out removal from their opponents. The only problem is that they don't have the reload. So they need to leverage this board as best they can. Normally you would do this if you feel like you have the final say. This entire matchup is very delicately balanced as one of those new mech cards that got buffed and Mulch Muncher arrive on the board. This matchup is delicately balanced based off of who can take the proactive trades that look good for them.
Yeah, you saw WheresMyPogChamp clear the board because they didn't have the reload like Joast does. They have the things like Forest Aid. They had the second Whispering Woods. They were able to redevelop their board after being cleared, whereas WheresMyPogChamp was not in a good position to do that, so they went for the clear play.
Yeah, that being said, this is an opportunity for WheresMyPogChamp to leverage their board. You know, they have Blessing of the Ancients, which is good with any of their other minions they want to play, or they alternatively could even go for a double buff, but I think in this position they want to utilize the fact that Joast minions are at 1/1 health right now, so they can use their hero power and pick apart the board that way. But looks like instead they're just going to utilize the board presence with the Hogsty, which is very similar. And in fact, I like this play even slightly better. So this is a good spot here by Bunny Fufu and Crypt to optimize their play further. And even though it's not as resource efficient because they can use their hero power, it's much more board tempo by having that extra 2/2.
Yeah, the minions, when a couple minions stick on the board when you're Token Druid for a few different turns, you basically know, especially if they're 1 health like these Wisps were, you know that your opponent doesn't have a swipe. So this is something where they can take the value trade, keep their board strong, and they have all the buffs in hand to be able to kill their opponent out of nowhere.
Yep. And perhaps why Joast without that swipe already behind, and that's something you got to feel for them. You know, they don't have the swipe to get the initiative. If they did, they'd be getting pretty far ahead back on board, and WheresMyPogChamp would be left picking up the pieces. So in this position, Mike, what do you think? Are they developing as big as they can, or are they just like trying to squeeze in a hero power to try to be more efficient?
I think when it comes down to it is that when a board from Token Druid is this wide, you have to be afraid of the burst damage. However, you can't always keep playing around that because right when you get into, say, turn 8, turn 9, that's when the Force Aid's coming down and you just can't clear the board constantly when you're the Token Druid in the mirror. So when it comes down to it, you just have to play your cards, get a big board, and hope that your opponent can't kill you out of nowhere.
Right.
And unfortunately, this, I believe, is the correct play, but I think it's going to make them dead.
Savage Roar and Blessing of Legion, 8 plus the 10 from the Savage Roar plus another 4 is 22 damage? Oof. If I count correctly, 8, 10 plus an extra 4 is 22. It is correct. That is devastating. In fact, I'm just going to put their opponents down to 1 health, equivalent to it. Now, the one thing that they have to be afraid of is if Joast has a counter lethal opportunity. Let's say they go all face. How much damage would they have they would be receiving if their opponent, say, had a Blessing of Ancient Savage right now.
Yeah, and they do play around that scenario with the trade with the face. So now they can either take a trade or no, this is 20 damage. This is going face.
Yes.
So now it's a situation where even if Joast had the best combo possible of like double Savage Roar, they would still be alive.
Oh, Evil Cable Rat might be able to give a spell. One last ray of hope.
It's not a spell.
Okay, they can. Oh, they can kill everything except for the Crystallizer.
Yep, except for one minion, but that is going, actually.
No, they'll be alive.
They'll be alive still. However, 2 Cable Rats, their chances of that not producing any damage for Where's My PogChamp is very slim.
Yes. And their Crip already has taken off the eye mask. He's already gotten his facial care with his cucumber treatments. Looks like he is ready to go to the spa more than he's ready to carry out his evil masterman plan. Just a single point of damage to wrap it up. And Kobold Lackey it is! Where's my Kobold? Oh, it's right there. That's gonna be the game. That's the series, and that's the event, Michael. 2-0.
Cleaned up. Where's My PogChamp proving that they're not the good guys. They are here to